the more you show up for your inner well-being so that you can be a kick-ass partner in a relationship, the closer you'll get to attracting the partner that you long for.
Gabrielle Bernstein, a role model for spiritual seekers.
So we went on my Instagram. We posted randomly this morning, who's got questions about relationships? I have not seen any of these questions. Sam, my producer, is going to read them out loud, and I am going to answer them.
First question, how can I deepen my connection with friends?
This is such an important topic right now, given that a lot of us have changed friends in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. We've adjusted the way that we relate to people. We've adjusted the way that we connect to people. And so I think that right now I would begin by really identifying what qualities you desire most in the people that you are closest to. Because if you start by being picky, truly picky about the kind of energy you want to mingle with, it's a mingling. Because when you are with other people's energy, their energy drips onto you, your energy gets picked up by them. And we have episodes all on how to clear your own energy and protect your energy. We can go back there if you want to. But when it comes to relationships, you want to be picky about the energy that you mingle with. Because if you want strong connection, you want to make sure that you feel good in the presence of that friend. So check out your friend list right now. Look at the people that you connect to, whether it's at work, whether it's socially, whatever it might be, and ask yourself, does it feel good to be in their presence? Do they elevate my energy? Do they inspire me? Is it joyful? If the answer is no, then you might want to take a really good audit of the types of choices you've been making, that clear awareness and desire of, you know what? Their vibe is not meshing with me. It's not elevating me. I'm not feeling good in their presence. For me, I come off as somebody who has lots of friends, and I do. I have lots of friends in the world, and I have lots of people I care about, but I have a small core group of best friends. And I keep them close. I keep them very, very, very tight-knit group. And these friends are like family to me. They're like sisters to me. At any point in time, if there's any kind of rift, we just get right to it and clean it up. And I think that's because I've been really picky about who I decide to be close to. And that pickiness it's not judgment at all. It's just choice. It's just choice. What feels good in my system? Who makes me feel safe and who makes me feel secure and who makes me feel as though I'm being seen and truly I can trust them. So I think that is an important opportunity to take a good audit of the friend group that you have and ask yourself, how do they make me feel? Look, I've been at times in my life where I've had to totally change my friends around. When I first got sober, I literally changed all of my friends. I have one friend still. This is a shout out to Justina, that one friend that I partied with and I'm still friends with now. But I had to change them all. And it's just a natural process. If you notice that their energy isn't meshing well with you, it's not elevating you, it's an opportunity to do some work on it.
What to do when sisters don't include you in plans, but they do include their friends?
Well, I think this goes for anyone. When you feel left out, when you feel disappointed, when you feel there's some kind of injustice in a relationship, you want to give yourself the chance to have the courage to speak up and ask for what you need. I say that very nonchalantly, but it's not that easy. It's not always that easy. There's a process of getting grounded in your own sense of inner safety, because when you feel safe, then you can say anything. So I would recommend that you definitely bring this up to your sisters, but not in a triggered way, not in a blaming, shaming, judgmental way. I would recommend that any truth that you bring to a friend, a partner, any relationship has to come from this seat of self-compassion, a seat of clarity, has to come from this feeling of safety. You can go back to any one of the episodes in Dear Gabby where I talk about self-soothing. You could listen to a recent meditation that we just shared on Dear Gabby. You can also go back and listen to episode 75 on boundaries. If you listen to that episode, it gives you the 4-step process to creating boundaries. And that is exactly what I think you might want to rock out with this specific issue, because it's about telling the truth, but not telling the truth with an attitude, not telling the truth from a triggered place, telling the truth from a place of confidence and calm. and a place that's loving, truly. So go back and listen to that episode. You can also do some meditations with me and just get grounded before you tell the truth.
Is it possible to get conflicting signs from the universe around a relationship you're manifesting?
If you're getting conflicting signs, it's because you're manic manifesting. Period. End of story. You are looking too hard for the signs. So I'd stop actually looking for a sign altogether at this point in time. I would take a step back. If you're in that place of manic manifesting, you're controlling. So the secret to attracting the romance that you want is to clean up your side of the street. It's to get into a place of joy. It's to elevate your own energy. It's to bring forth that goodness within you. And that's when you become a super attractor. It's not about, did I get my sign or am I putting it on my vision board? It's about, how do you feel? What's the energy you put out? That's what matters most. Get into an energy of abundance and joy and excitement and freedom. And in that space, you become a magnet for what it is that you long for in that relationship. We often think that that relationship will complete us. It's quite the opposite. It's when we feel good, we will be a magnet for a partner that it matches that goodness. So stop trying to control it. Stop trying to make it happen. Stop trying to play tricks with the universe, and let that love come through as a magnet back to you.
How to rebuild trust in a relationship after being lied to?
Well, I do believe in forgiveness, and that forgiveness is one step, but the trust is next level. So trust is about you staying connected to what your non-negotiables are. So when you are in a grounded place where you have identified that lying is a non-negotiable. If there's lying, it's not going to work for me. And you want to give somebody a second chance. You have to be really clear with that boundary. You have to be really direct. You have to be really clear. You have to be really grounded in it for yourself. Because some people have patterns that are not so great and they can be repeated. If you want to stay in connection and relationship with someone who's breached your trust, no problem. I think that's absolutely correct. Give that person grace, practice forgiveness, give yourself the opportunity to see what could be new. I've seen that happen over and over again where relationships come back stronger after having some mistrust. So I don't think it's impossible by any measure. But what I do think is really mandatory is that you create a clear boundary and that you are very, very, very grounded for yourself in your own commitment to truth. If you assume the energy of, I'm committed to truth, I am aligned with being very, very clear about that, then you will get that back. This is important though. If the person does once again breach your trust, what will happen is it will be far less disappointing when you've created that boundary. And in that place of that boundary, you'll be able to cut the cord and say, I'm going to love you and let you go because this isn't working for me anymore. The more clear you are about your boundaries, the greater the message is to the other person, the less of a match you are for that kind of mistrust. But also, the easier it is to walk away if and when that trust is compromised in the future.
How can I forgive my mom for the trauma that she caused me that she isn't sorry for?
This is a big one. A really big one. Well, I'd like to find out who this person is and write back to them on Instagram and send them a copy of Happy Days, The Guided Path from Trauma to Profound Freedom and Inner Peace, my latest book, because I really think that the forgiveness has to happen through your own personal healing of the trauma. If you aren't in a place that's healthy and healed and relieved that you've come through the trauma, that you've done the work on yourself, and this is a work in progress, it's not ever really done, but that you feel safer in your nervous system, then it will be really hard for you to access that connection to forgiveness. That connection to forgiveness when someone has done something that's harmful to you often has to come from a place of compassion. But the only way to access that compassion is to do the heavy lifting, is to really begin to have that compassion for yourself, for the parts of yourself that were traumatized, particularly by a parent figure, someone that was an attachment figure, and how disappointing and harmful that was. But typically what happens for the child or the individual in that situation is that they take on the shame as the individual takes on the shame of the parent. And so you have to do your work to heal that shame. And then from that place, you can begin to open your heart to forgiveness. But the first step starts with you. So I'm going to send this person happy days. I think we need to get it to them.
The next question is, I'm 36 and still single. I feel like I'm never going to find my person. What should I do?
36 and still single. First of all, just take a breath. Many of my friends have found their first person in their 40s or their second person in their 40s, whatever it is. Take a deep breath, because to manifest that relationship, you really want to be in a faithful place. When we lack faith in our desires, we send the universe energy that kind of looks mucky. It looks stagnant or static. It's sending out a message that you're scared or that you're unworthy. And so the work truly is getting yourself to a place where you are the best partner you could be in the relationship that you attract next. The more you show up for your inner well-being so that you can be a kick partner in a relationship, the closer you'll get to attracting the partner that you long for. Also, the more you clean up your side of the street, the less likely you'll be to attract somebody that's not good for you, because you'll have worked on some of your stuff so that you're no longer a match for people that don't feel good. So I would say get to work, do the work on yourself, really get yourself to become the partner that you want to attract.
How do I deal with my partner's avoidant attachment when I have an anxious attachment style?
A while back, we did a whole episode on attachment styles, which you can go back and listen to. And I also have the free attachment quiz. If you're hearing this language and this is new to you, your attachment style is your relationship style. It's how you show up in relationships. And I created a whole quiz at deargabby.com/attachment. And it's totally free. It's this great quiz that allows you to just take a bunch of questions and gives you your results. And there's 3 different results. There's the anxious attachment style, there's the avoidant attachment style, and there's the secure attachment style. Secure are those folks that are super confident in relationships. Anxious are the ones that are clinging for dear life, like, stick around, don't leave me. And the avoidant attachment style is the one where they do not want that neediness or that clinginess, and they kind of run for the hills. So this person, typically this happens where an anxiously attached person finds their way into an avoidant attachment style relationship. So you've got the avoidant attached person in the relationship with the anxious attached person, and it creates a lot of chaos. So if you're the person who's in that anxious state, I definitely want you to take the quiz, learn more about your attachment style. But what I would really recommend is that you do whatever you can to help yourself feel safe. Because what you're longing for most in your avoidant attached partner is a sense of safety. And for you, safety means that the partner sticks around. Safety means I'm not complete without that person. The work really about being in relationship to anyone when you're anxiously attached is to access safety from within yourself. Because when you start to garner that sense of safety, you feel less reliant on others to be your savior. So that safety can come in through a community, like a yoga community, or if you happen to be in any kind of 12-step recovery, or it can come through in a spiritual community. That safety can come through in your meditation. That safety can come through when you read a book like Happy Days. That safety can come through when you do something like the relationship challenge with me. You can get a greater sense of safety with the lessons that I'll teach you. So the reason I bring up the word safety is that if you don't heal the parts of yourself that are so anxious and so afraid, then all attachment styles are going to trigger you, particularly the avoidant attachment style, which is this person that this lovely woman has connected to. I also want you to just smile and just thank the avoidant attached boyfriend for being the perfect spiritual assignment for you. Because when you attach to your opposite and you are triggered in all ways and you feel super uncomfortable, that's often your opportunity. That's your moment to let that discomfort reveal to you what it is that you need to heal. I'm revealing it to you now, telling you there's a lack of safety in your system, and it's a time now to let the discomfort of that relationship be the catalyst for what can be your greatest change. I genuinely believe that all relationships are assignments. And when we show up for them, we have growth opportunities. When we show up for those assignments, we can learn, we can grow, we can become new. But when we avoid those assignments, we wind up attracting the same partner over and over again, just in a different body. We wind up feeling as though we're a hamster in a wheel because we haven't shown up for the discomfort. We ignore it, we push past it, we go to addictive patterns, we stay stuck in the wrong relationships. But when you show up for yourself in the midst of that discomfort, that's when you can change your energy, change your belief systems about yourself. And that's the only way to change your relationships. The energy that we show up with is going to be reflected back to us. If you like this video and you want to get more Gabby, check out the next one right over here.